Commerce Secretary says trade deals are coming, expecting a long list of trade deals by midsummer, and insists it won't raise retail prices. Meanwhile, on the sidelines of the G7, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Canada's finance minister engaging in productive trade talks. Then there's the EU. It's presenting a fresh trade proposal to revive talks with the United States. So, Jackie, it kind of felt like we weren't getting a lot of news on this front. I guess Howard Lutnick insists otherwise, but it does seem like the trade talk chatter has kind of muted a little bit.
So my question is that a coincidence? I'm not sure. The whole time I've been trying to figure out the evil genius in the Trump strategy on how he wanted to unroll this. In what order and why, and the fact that we have not been talking about tariffs because we've been distracted by the big, beautiful bill and the details and the, the infighting that's going on. We've sort of given Lutnick and Bessent and everybody else a little bit more time to ink these deals, which the president has acknowledged papering them is, in fact, very difficult. And I'm wondering if there wasn't an aspect of taking the tariffs out first, knowing that it would rattle the markets a little bit, especially with that first set of tariffs on Liberation Day, allowing that to kind of run its course. Then you come in and say, okay, countries are coming to the table, they're negotiating. So now everyone pulls back a little bit and says, well, that's good. Then you get this bill done because now that you've created the tariff uncertainty, it's very important to get the bill done to the overall strategy. And it's distracting from this time that these negotiations are going on. Yeah. Some may say I'm reading too much into this, but I think it's interesting.
Well, that's a 4D chess analysis of what's going on. Now, Dagan, these are the same guys who gave us that big chart at the beginning with the, what did you call that, math?
Chart. It was Greek alphabet.
Greek alphabet soup of formulas that seemed less than 4D chess to me. So what do you make of where things are with trade?
It needs to progress more quickly. People need certainty, particularly the small business owners. It was a huge win for small business operators. It's 35 million small business operators in the United States with the House passing this bill and making sure that their taxes are not going to go up next year. However, they deserve the same thing, and particularly with China, but it's progressing, but it's going to take time. And how much time, I have no idea. It's better than it was a few weeks ago, but it needs to get better and clearer in not just months, but weeks.
There has been some positive news when it comes to Canada.
Yes.
Our Golden Dome, that a $25 billion down payment was included in the big, beautiful bill. And then I think it expands to eventually $150 to $175 billion. Trump wants it built in the next 3 years. Wow. How this, though, relates, Brian, to Canada negotiations. Canada wants in on it. Trump, I believe, yesterday said that. Of
course they do.
But he'll make it fair. It's not like we're going to build it and then like they just benefit from it. I'm sure there will have to be a partnership. I'm sure that they will have to pay up. But we were speaking with someone earlier this week. My pregnancy brain is making me forget everything. But they said eventually these Golden Dome systems that Israel started will be all. Iran's going to have one. North Korea's going to have one. China's going to have one. Russia's going to have one. Great, we better have one too. It could have 400 to 1,000 surveillance and attack satellites to detect and shoot down incoming hypersonic and intercontinental ballistic missiles. So again, trying to find things with our good trading partners like Canada where we can agree on. And what does that end up look like when we can all foot the bill?
DeRoy, it feels like we should be able to get something done with Canada quickly, okay? And Scott Bessent was meeting with his counterpart from Canada on the sidelines of the G7. His counterpart's name is Champagne.
Monsieur Champagne.
It's a great last name, okay? Apparently they had very productive meetings. Maybe the Golden Dome is a bargaining chip as part of all of this. I think it would be a huge boon to markets if now that the election's done in Canada, they could really get something done with Canada, because they're such a huge trading partner, and the issues, to me, of any country, they seem very solvable with Canada. What do you think?
I think that's true, and I agree with Dagan. We need to have these deals done quickly rather than dragging on and on with all the question marks that are attached. And in addition to speed, I'd like to see simplicity. I just saw in some of the background on this that they're looking at different tariffs for sensitive versus non-sensitive goods, for AI products, carve-outs for digital infrastructure, and include also non-tariff exclusions for lobsters. I mean, you can go through the grocery store and have different tariffs on different items on, aisle 1 versus aisle 7 versus aisle 9. Very complex. That opens the door to lobbying and rent-seeking and potential corruption. Why not just say, look, we're going to have a 5% across-the-board tariff, very simple, very easy to predict, very easy to calculate, and gives a little bit of an advantage to domestic manufacturers. If you want to get imports, you pay a little bit more. Everyone can see what it's like, and something very nice and simple you can put on 1 or 2 pages, rather than something the size of an old phone book with all these carve-outs, exclusions, and all that other stuff. Keep it simple, do it quickly, get it signed, and get it implemented.
Though don't hate on the lobsters.
Oh, I'm all for the lobsters, but 5%
We're going
tariff
to
on
be
lobsters.
eating them, Taylor.
Yeah.
Not I.
And by why not shrimp? Maybe we should have something special for shrimp. I mean, just keep it very simple. That's the best way to handle it.
Let me pick up on that because, I talked to some small business owners at the Ramsey conference this week, and I asked them a lot about tariffs, actually. And, I said, are you nervous about tariffs? Are these messing with your plans? And here's what I heard from them. Now, this is not a scientific sample, but what I heard was, I'm okay with the tariffs. I understand what the president's doing, but I want to know what I have to do in response. These are people who say, just tell me where the guidelines are so I can play within them. They like the idea. They just don't like the uncertainty of what they get to do and what they don't get to do.
Don't know what to do.
Now, you could solve that with a flat tariff. And Dagan, you've talked about this. I mean, I kind of wonder if at the end of all of this, we're going to really just mostly end up with something like a 10% ring around the collar tariff.
It's going to be 10%. President Trump wants tariff revenue. It is a hallmark of the way that he thinks about trade policy. He wants that to be a source of revenue for the United States. You have to pay a cover charge to access this very delicious, rich market of consumers. And he does see it, and it was not factored into the bill. It was not a cost offset into the bill because it's still up in the air. I understand that.
Right.
And then the second part of it is reshoring manufacturing in this country and onshoring manufacturing and investing in America. And he demonstrated that crystal when he was in the Middle East with more than $5 trillion in investment commitments that he had. I mean, he said earlier this week, he said, normally when a president goes overseas, we have to give them things, give other countries money. And he said, I just brought back $5 trillion. So that's just illustrates the president his way of thinking is pro-America, is making America wealthy and great and rich or richer.
I think he's brought in, is it about $10 trillion altogether as president? I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, I've never seen a president do anything even remotely like that.
Helps strengthen the dollar.
Absolutely.
We're going to run. Are we at session highs on the Dow? Are we close to that?
We're getting close. I will tell you right now, for these markets, we are firmly in the green. Yields are stable. You're up 0.3% on all of those. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ are up 0.7%. And finally, the Russell, the small cap stocks are up, and your VIX, Brian, is down to a 20 handle.
See, maybe some people are coming around to the tax cut after all. You never know.